Canada Post says it's moving ahead with plans to end door-to-door mail delivery for the last 4 million addresses, about a quarter of Canadian homes. The Crown Corporation calls it necessary to stop the bleeding after years of losses. But the union says they haven't even seen the full blueprint yet.
Canada Post says it is moving ahead with the restructuring plan mandated by the federal government last fall, a plan that will permanently end door-to-door mail delivery for the roughly 4 million addresses, about one quarter of Canadian households, that still get mail at their door. In an emailed statement Monday, the Crown Corporation said the changes are meant to ensure we can meet the evolving needs of Canadians without becoming a recurring burden on taxpayers, and that it has begun consulting its bargaining agents as it starts implementation. The shift is part of a broader transformation ordered after Ottawa declared Canada Post effectively insolvent. The corporation has lost more than $5 billion since 2018, including a $541 million loss in Q3 2025 and a pace that put 2025 losses near $1.5 billion. The federal government provided a $720 million emergency loan in January 2025 and approved up to $1.01 billion in repayable funding for 2025 to 26, but Minister Joël Lightbound, Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement, says bailouts are not a long-term fix. Repeated bailouts are not a long-term solution. Transformation is required. Key elements of the plan. Community mailbox conversions. The moratorium on conversions, in place since 2015, was lifted last September. Canada Post is now authorized to convert the remaining 4 million door-to-door addresses to community, apartment, or rural boxes, a move expected to save about $400 million annually. Delivery standards. Non-urgent letter mail will be allowed to move by ground instead of air, trimming roughly $20 million a year while extending delivery windows. Retail network. Ottawa also lifted the 1994 moratorium on rural post office closures, nearly 4,000 locations. Canada Post must present a plan within 45 days to modernize and right-size its network, particularly in areas that have urbanized since the ban. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers, CUPW, representing about 55,000 employees, criticized the announcement as an attempt to derail negotiations, saying it has not seen the full plan. Canada Post says it will maintain an accommodation program for seniors and people with mobility issues who need home delivery, with supporting documentation required. No firm timeline has been announced, but the corporation says it will reach out to municipalities to discuss mailbox locations and phasing.